equation. Okay, real important here. Percent problem has three parts to it. An amount equals to the percent times the base. All the percent problems are based on this equation right here. Okay, for example, there's three basic types of unknowns. The first one is where you don't know the amount, but you do know the percentage, and you do know how much you're multiplying into the percentage. Well, normally here, for this type of problem, you have to change. You have to convert the percentage. You always have to convert the percentage to a decimal. So this would be 0.1 times 500, which would be 50. Okay, here we do not know the base, but we do know the percentage. Again, convert that to 0.1 equals 250. So that's 0.1 n. And then you divide by 0.1. And divide by 0.1. And you get n equals to 500.
So base is percent times amount.
Base.
Percent divided by amount.
The amount divided by the percent. Yeah. By the percent, right. Because what you're doing is you're solving algebraically. So you're dividing both sides by the 0.1 or 0.10. And then for the last one, when we don't know what the percent is, this one tends to be the trickiest, because here you're dividing by 500, right? Divide by 500, and so the zeros cancel and the 5s cancel, and you get 0.01, right? So basically, actually that's 0.1, because 5 goes into 50, that would be 0.1.
Percent is
but, yeah.
Divided by amount?
Well, see, you're just solving algebraically, so yeah, it's going to be amount divided by the base.
Amount divided by the base.
Right, because it's the same. See, the process is the same each time. Look up here. You've got the amount, right? You got the percent, and you got the base. So you just put in the amounts, wherever they go in the equation, and then you solve algebraically. The problem is with percent, okay, you get a decimal, but they want the answer as a percentage. So you have to move this 1, 2 places to the right, so that would be 10%. Okay, so when you're trying to find percent, you're going to get a decimal, and then you got to move it 2 places to the right to get your percentage. Okay, so that's one thing about percentage, solving for percent, that you have to remember. All right, questions with that?
On the second one.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay, basically what you're doing is you always have to convert the percentage to a decimal. Okay, so that would be 0.1 n equals to 50, right? And so now all you're doing is you're just dividing by 0.1. You're just solving algebraically. Okay, well, when you have a decimal, that when you're dividing a number by a decimal, your answer will be larger. Okay, because really I could go through algebraically how that works, but if you put it in the calculator, try it on the calculator, you'll see it works that way. All right, any other questions? All right. Next, what is 9% of 65? Okay, so the what, back up. The what, that's the amount. So the 65 is the base. Okay, so you have to convert the percent to a decimal. So you're moving that 2 places to the left. Okay. And so that gives you 0.09. So that's a tricky thing about percentages, is that you got to remember to move it two places. Okay? And so it's 0.09 times 65, and you get 5.85. Okay? So your amount is 5.85. All right? Questions with that? All right. 36 is. So 36, and then you have is as your equals. 6% of what? So you're looking for the base this time. So you convert your percentage to a decimal. That's 0.06. And then you're just solving algebraically from here. Divide by 0.06. Right. And there it is. Your number's larger because you're dividing a number by a decimal. Smaller than 1. Greater than 0. So you get 600. So this is 36 is 6% of 600. Okay? And then the next one, 24 is. There's 24, and then the equal sign. So the problem tells you, you just put things in the order that you read them. 24, and then is equals. What percent? That's n. Of 144, that's your base. Again, you're solving algebraically. Divide by 144. And you get a decimal, but you don't want a decimal. You want a percent. So we have to move that decimal point two places.
So isn't it 16%? What is the 2/3?
Yeah. Well, see, when you get...
Oh, there's something
wait a minute. Hold on. Let me back up here. When you get 0.3333333, that's a third. When you get 0.6666666, that's 2/3. Okay? 0.5, that's a half. You know what I mean? So that's a common number that we're learning about. So when you see 0.6 repeating, you know it's 2/3 as a fraction. So that's why it's 16 2/3%. All right? Questions with that? Okay, come on now. Why aren't you moving on me? What's that? Well, you move that decimal over two places, right? But see this bar right here? That means, let me make this, because of the Camtasia, it won't give me, it won't let me do the starboard. Okay, 0.16, right? With this bar, that means 0.166666666, like that, right? And it just keeps on going. Okay? So what you have to do is you got to go two places, right? And so that's 16.666666666, right? It just keeps on going. Well, 6.6 repeating, 0.3 repeating, right, is 1/3. 0.6 repeating is 2/3. Okay? So that's where you get the 16 2/3%. Okay? All right. Any other questions with that? Okay. Good questions. Don't be afraid to ask.